Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and I'm here today with Chelsey Jones. And what we're going to talk about is, the real importance of knowing your goals, kind of like knowing your why. Remember, guys, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, really all real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their business by providing tools and resources to grow the business you want to have and in turn live that life that you always wanted to live. So, Chelsey, welcome to our show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this. I love goal setting. I love, having that why. But before we talk about all that, tell our audience a little bit about you, kind of your background, what got you into real estate. I mean, what got you to today?
Yeah, thank you. So I come from a kind of a corporate background. So I had the same job from the time I was 15 until the time I was 24. I worked for a grocery store, climbed that corporate ladder all the way up. And then I had a life event that really changed me. My brother passed away, and
Condolences.
that's kind of, yeah, thank you. That's kind of when I decided that I need to reevaluate my life. I was in a job that I hated, to be honest, but that was all I knew, from being a kid, this corporate lifestyle, taking orders from other people. And that's just not my personality type. So, so I, after that happened with my brother, I took a leap of faith, and I jumped headfirst into real estate. So I started, I had quit my job and I started buying rentals. Started with renting out the place that I had lived at, rented that out, bought a few more. And then here in the last 4 years, I actually switched all my long-term rentals except for one into short-term rentals. But it was really that kind of that defining moment, with my brother that made me just reevaluate, is this what I want for the rest of my life, to take orders from someone else?
Sure. I won't ask what, and you said it was a grocery store?
Yes.
Okay, I won't ask what chain it was. I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
So it kind of started as a whole bagger all the way up to where? How high did you get there?
Yeah, so I was an assistant store manager,
Nice.
and I was in that role for about 2.5 years. And my brother took his own life, so that was really when
My condolences again.
Yeah, thank you. But that was really when I made that decision that I'm not happy here. And what else can I do to make that different?
What kind of mindset did you have? What made that shift? I know this was a big, a traumatic event in your life. I mean, what mindset did you have to fight the urge to just, be in that depressive state and just say, hey, I got to make a change? Because that's big, right? Some people
For sure.
don't do that. Some people go the other way.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And look, it took me, a long time to make that decision. But when I was going there every day, I was just not happy. And after
Mm.
watching, my brother battle with that depression and all that, and obviously it did not end well, I didn't want to follow that path. So I knew inside myself that I either had to make this change because no one else is going to do it for me.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Or I can continue to live, this life that I'm not really happy with and not really proud of.
Good for you. Good for you recognizing and made that change. All right, now my favorite question, why real estate? I mean, you're in the grocery. Did you have someone in your family, a relative, an uncle, an aunt, someone who owned rental properties, a friend who flipped a
Yeah,
house? How did you get into
I
that groceries
not at
to real
all.
estate?
Not at all. So I actually didn't know really anyone who did this. And it really came down to kind of happened by accident. My boyfriend and I at the time had decided we wanted to move in together. And I was going to sell the house that I had. I bought that house at 20. I think we moved in together at like 23 when I was 23. So I had that
Okay.
house for about 3 years, had done some updates myself. And at the time, my good friend, they were pregnant, and they were looking to move into a larger place. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of fell into this by renting out my house to a good friend of mine.
Okay.
And it was kind of easy, I just, I collected a check every month, occasionally stuff would go wrong, but really not all that often.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was still with my other job when I bought one more rental
Okay.
because I just saw, wow, this is kind of easy money. I'm pretty handy. So I did a lot of the either renovations or, um, maintenance issues myself.
Awesome.
Other than the mortgage, I didn't really have a lot of overhead. So I did have like a toe in it before I decided to quit fully.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that I didn't know anyone who was doing this successfully. I didn't know, I didn't have any guidance by any means.
Right.
Yeah, I just knew that this wasn't what I wanted. And the little bit of money, I was making with renting out my two places that I had at that time, I saw just a vision with that, and I knew that if I put my mind to it, I could run with it.
Awesome. So you kind of fell into the unintentional house hack, right? You got there, you're
Yeah.
renting out, you're pretty much paying for your bill or close to a lot of your bills.
Yep.
That's awesome. That's a great way to make that intro. So now that now that you make that transition full time, right? What type of different challenges from being kind of on the part-time bench to now making this your full-time thing?
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely had to reevaluate my expenses. I went out a lot less. That's a big shock to someone who's, 24. I was still in that partying, going out, nice restaurants, all that.
Mhm.
And I had to reevaluate that because even though it was a stable income, because it's a long-term rental, they're paying the same amount every month. You don't know when the furnace is going to break or when, something's going to happen.
Mhm.
And at the time I was taking a salaried position down to only 2 rentals. So to be honest, I put my little hustler hat on, and I also picked up a few side gigs. I did a direct sales business for a minute. I started
Cool.
walking dogs, just anything to make the ends meet while I continued to scale this business.
I love it. Were there any like tools or resources or books or anything that you can, as you got into this full-time journey, the things that maybe helped you along the way with some little bits of advice that you learned?
Yeah. Well, for sure. It sounds cliche because I think everyone says it, but I think that's the point too. So Rich Dad, Poor
That
Dad
poor dad.
really, Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I wait for it's like every third show. I think I have Rich Dad Poor. I mean, if I was able to charge money on it, we'd all make some money.
I know, right? Every time I
Right.
mention that book, if I could get a little royalty, that'd be ideal.
Sure. Right. Yeah, but it's an
Yeah, but
incredible
that
book.
really
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Yeah. Yeah, that really changed it for me. I came from a single family household. We weren't poor, but we were never well off or anything like that. So I didn't know how to manage money. I didn't know anything about money, if we're being completely honest.
Hmm.
I just knew that I wanted to have it.
Yeah.
So Rich Dad Poor Dad helped change that mindset in me. One, I think that this is possible for anyone. And that's my biggest, takeaway, and my biggest thing that I share with new investors too. An average Joe can buy real estate and build a successful portfolio.
I'm sure in the background, like everybody that gets into real estate does, has those family, friends, and whatnot that like to kind of chirp in your ear a little bit about why you're making the mistake of doing this. How did you focus on stay, eyes on the prize, and detract those people?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously it's risky, right? Like I said, I didn't know anyone who had gone this path before. I was really grateful and still am to have a really supportive partner who, kind of saw he came from the same business that I did and now
Mm.
owns his own business, not real estate related, but, so he knew what I was going through at my job and then obviously personally as well.
Hmm.
And he always just told me, hey, you got it. You got it. So there was always one person in my corner, and I'm
Hmm.
very thankful for that. But I've always been driven, and once I set my mind to something, that's kind of it. So there were definitely a lot of naysayers or people that just didn't get it. I think there still are sometimes, even though,
Oh, there
I
always are
think,
going to be. They're
yeah,
always going to be. If you ain't doing it right, you don't have haters.
exactly. Yeah. So I just knew that I could do this because I'm strong enough, I'm capable enough, and I'm going to educate myself beyond my wildest dreams to be able to do this.
Good for you. I mean, and that's a mindset that a lot of people, don't have. They stay in the analysis paralysis stage as opposed to the action part. Did you research out any groups, any mentorships, any, even maybe just like a local guy that you can kind of learn and sit and have coffee with and talk about rentals?
Kind of. So my realtor did have a couple rentals that I used to buy my long-term rentals. So, he did help me along the way as things to look for, how to build a proper lease, even those
Hmm.
kind of things. And then um, Facebook groups weren't like a thing like they are now, I feel like. So there might have been one or two that I joined, but
Okay.
it really was a stumble over yourself, read a lot of books, and figure it out.
Got it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your business now. I mean, you mentioned that you took a lot of your long-term stuff, you switched almost everything to short-term. Why did short-term appeal to you more than the long-term?
Yeah. So short term, I felt like there was just more money to be made. Long term was steady and it was kind of like a salary job because when you
Mm.
get good tenants, they stay, they pay rent on time, and you can expect that paycheck, which is
Right.
great. And it
Right.
did allow me to leave, my almost 10-year career that I had. So I'm really grateful for that. But the $200 to $400 per unit didn't really make me feel excited anymore.
Mm.
And I love to travel. I am really passionate about travel. I travel probably every other month, if not, a couple times a month. And this was an opportunity for us to be able to travel and make money. Uh,
Yes.
so just a lot of research. And by this point, Facebook groups, all of that were big. So Build
Hmm.
Faith, the Build Short-Term Rental group or long-term wealth short-term rentals. There's
Right.
a lot of people now that I follow that helped helped me get into this space just from being a fly on the wall in those
Mhm.
spaces.
Yeah, that's incredible. What challenges did you see when you made the flip into it?
It's a lot more expensive.
No
You know,
risk, no reward.
exactly. So when I was doing long-term rentals, I think the most expensive one I bought was like $150,000.
Hmm.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Now I have millions of dollars of good debt, but it's still scary. You're
Yeah.
taking a smaller investment and turning it into at times $500,000 investment. And that's really scary. But I, again, once I tell myself I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So I researched the heck out of it, pros,
Hmm.
cons, all the good, bad in between, and decided this was the next route I wanted to take, not only for the money, but
Hmm.
also for my family. Now we go on vacation to these places, and it's a lot cheaper than getting a hotel.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of, I hear a lot when I talk to short-term folks is like, where do you get your first one? Where do you want to go?
Yeah, it's where you
That's where
want a
you
vacation.
that's where you get it. You get it where you want to go.
Yep,
Because
exactly.
you could save money. It's a money saver. It's if that makes sense. Well, cool. So where are your short terms? Where are you located again?
So I'm in Ohio,
Okay.
Columbus, so right in the middle. I currently have rentals in the Gulf of Texas, so Crystal Beach, right by
Mm,
Galveston. I have 3 in Tennessee, the Smoky Mountains, so the Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge area,
mm,
and then Hocking Hills, which is on everybody's radar right now. It's a little foresty town in southeast Ohio.
okay.
Yeah, it's rated like number 3 on AirDNA to invest in.
Wow.
And
Why do you think that is? Like, why is it so attractive right now?
yeah, I think it's experienced a lot of growth. It's a beautiful setting. There's, cliffs and waterfalls and hiking and forests. And we get, the leaf changes because we're the Midwest. So,
Yeah, it looks,
um,
yeah.
yeah, it's crazy to watch though, because I grew up, on weekends going there to hike with my girlfriends and stuff like that. And now it's this huge area of tourism, which is wild to have watched that evolution.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in Boise, Idaho, right? And I've been out
Okay.
here for the last 5 years. I've seen a lot of tremendous growth and the purge coming in here. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong or tell me your thoughts. Like, yeah, I think a lot more people now want to get out to those type of places. Get away from all this. Now this noise and all this other stuff, and just be in that natural setting, right? So I think
For
I've heard a
sure.
lot of folks investing more into those. Is that kind of what your thoughts are as far as short term stuff?
Yeah, for sure. We're seeing that too in these small Midwest towns that you probably never heard of are
Right.
becoming tourist attractions, which is wild. I think the Smokies will always probably hold the national park record, that everybody
Hmm.
goes there. But you do find that people want a little bit less of that hustle and bustle. You can't get to Gatlinburg anymore quickly, and you can't pay less than $20 to park. So I think people are going into these areas where maybe it's a little more economic for them. They don't have to pay so much to go,
Hmm.
and they're a little bit untapped. And I love that. I love emerging markets, and it's really
Yeah,
cool to live so close to one and to have grown up with one.
that is awesome. How do you specifically choose the market? I mean, obviously, like you said, you would want to go there, but
Mhm.
how do you choose it? Like, is there a specific demographic, population, or anything that you really look for?
Yeah, so me personally, I do only do vacation markets, so I have not tapped into the metro market yet. I do have a lot of clients that do, but it's just not my thing. So I like a vacation market because I think vacations, even as the economy ebbs and flows, vacations might look a little different, but they're not going away. People
Hmm.
need and want to reward themselves with
Right.
vacations. And I think, I think we saw this a lot during COVID and after COVID, that vacations might change in how they look. So maybe people are flying less. So I like drivable locations. So when I say drivable, it means either, so Crystal Beach, for example, I would say 98% of our visitors are from Texas. They're driving to those locations. Hocking Hills, everybody's driving. They're relatively local. The Bourbon Trail, people are driving there. That way, when or if, travel changes and maybe flights are too expensive, or, there's a lot of plane crashes right now. Maybe people are looking to drive.
Right.
I want to be in those markets that people are able to drive to. I also want to be in markets that are experiencing growth in tourism.
Do you have data that kind of supports, like, and from this city, people would drive here? And do you have all that, or is it just kind of like this is what your experience has led you to?
Yeah, it's definitely a mix of data and just being in this now for about 4 years. It's kind of a mix of data and just what I'm seeing in the market. But studies do show that people from Ohio drive the most to their vacations. And they're willing to drive up to 10 hours.
Wow.
So when I'm looking, why? I don't know. But, but so when I'm looking at a map, that's always in the back of my head as well, because that was research, and that came out a couple years ago, but it's still good for me to know. And then being from Ohio, I kind of know what's 10 hours away.
Okay. I was going to say, there's probably this specific amount of cities or, limited amount of areas that are 10 miles or 10 hours away.
Yeah.
But that's cool data. So, where do you see yourself growing? I mean, do you want to get into a lot more areas? I mean, what's your projected doors by the end of 2025?
Yeah. So, right now my growth is a little bit different, and I am switching from more doors to more revenue. So this year, my focus, I'm not saying I won't buy, because if the right deal comes along, you can't say no sometimes.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
But this year, really my focus, as these markets that I'm in have continue to grow as well, is to continue to stay relevant and in that top percentage of rentals.
Okay.
So, just recently I was down in Tennessee, and I ripped out one of those old soaking tubs, that I don't really think anyone actually uses. And I put in a little book nook, because that's something unique that not a lot of places have. This is a cozy little couple's cabin. 2 people can sit on it comfortably, snuggle up, watch a movie, read a book, whatever. So this year, my focus is not necessarily buying new property, but it's going to be working on the properties I have to stay top of mind to our guests.
Got it. Okay. So you're just talking about like improvements within the properties that you currently have.
Yeah, improvements, and then doing more research on what amenities do I need to add. How can I boost up my hospitality, and then moving towards those direct bookings. Love the platforms that I'm on, but once again, similar to my corporate job, I don't really like to be told what to do. So if I can move those off those platforms and onto my own, that's something I'm really focusing on this year as well.
Sweet. Okay. And then we've talked a lot, but we haven't hit our topic yet. And we're running out of time. So tell us why it's important to know your goals. Why is it important to have that drive, that why?
Yeah. So for me, it's important because that story and that journey is going to change. So my why was I want to own my own business, because I want to be proud and happy in the life that I'm living every single day. And I need to know how to do that, but I don't know what that looks like until I know that why. So for me, it looked like being able to travel more. It looked like having places for my family. We have 3 boys. So it looked like having places, for my family to go, to take their friends, to make these memories with them.
Sure.
And it also looked like generational wealth. Again, 3 boys that someday down the road, if they don't want to work for someone else, I'm setting this up so that they can work for themselves. Yep. Me for a little bit, but yeah, right. Down the road. And I think that's important, because I think had I just said I want to make money, I don't know that I would have taken this route. Right. I probably would have continued to climb the corporate ladder that I was on a good track with. because that probably would have given me more money a lot quicker, but it wouldn't have gotten me to where I am now. And then knowing kind of that initial goal and then your 3, 5, 10-year goal. And obviously those will change along the way. But knowing that is how you start the plan. So I knew right off the bat that I wanted a place in Tennessee. Now I knew that I needed to be profitable enough to have that place in Tennessee and to buy more. I didn't just want one and done. But knowing that was my end goal, was multiple places, allowed me to pick that first investment that would pay for the next investment and so on.
Got it.
You know, I think when you don't have a why or a strong enough why, then the day to day, the guests who complain, the times when that rental didn't make a lot of money that month, it's a lot easier to give up then and listen to all those naysayers.
Yeah, no, and that's important. I mean, goals and having your end, in focus. You're just running out elsewhere if you're not. What goal setting tips, tools, tricks, things did you use, or would you recommend to maybe some of our listeners to help get, if they haven't set goals already, get that started?
Yeah. So the first thing I would say is start big. So start with that wildest goal. Maybe it's, I want to own a beach house in Italy, whatever that big goal is, start there and then narrow it down, because I think we get so stuck in our heads that big goal is just a goal and it's just a dream that'll never happen. But when you start so big and then you start to break it down smaller and smaller, okay, well, what do I need to get that beach house on the Amalfi Coast?
Right.
What do I need to get to that step, and so on? So I like to work backwards, and I like to start huge and then break it down into chunk size bits. And when I did that, I realized, wait a second, so I can sell this property that I'm making, I think it was like $600 a month from. I can sell this and put 20% down on a dream house in Tennessee. That's easy. I'll do that tomorrow.
Right.
But starting big, I think, is important, and then bite-sized pieces.
Yep. What do they say? How do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. Such awesome information, such good content. What's the last little piece of advice you might give someone that might be looking to get into rentals, at starting their journey, whatever?
Yeah, just do your research and know your why. I think if your why is big enough, you'll do anything to get there. So do that, but obviously you want to be smart about it. So make sure you're doing your research. Hire a coach if you need to. Stalk the Facebook groups, do all of the things, but get those goals down on paper, because once they're on paper, they become a plan.
Awesome, guys. I hope you took some notes here. This was an incredible podcast. Thank you so much for Chelsey for coming on. Yeah, I know we had a hiccup in the first scheduling, but we got it back on, which is fantastic. Guys, yeah, it was great. Thank you for coming,
John.
Chelsey. Thank you again, and we'll see you on the next one.
All
Cheers.
right. Thanks so much, John.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.